Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurulsyahira binti Ibrahim. My Matric number is 263449. Today I want to present my individual assignment about the impact of the internet factors and microeconomics factor to the credit risk on the Santander UK banks. First of all, I want to introduce about the Santander UK Bank. Santander UK Bank is a leading personal finance service company and the saving and provider in the United Kingdom. Next is Santander UK has around 40 million customer, 20,000 employees and 64 corporate business center. Santander UK was ranked as the worst bank of the customer service, but product range was ranked third best in the United Kingdom in 2013. Santander Bank has faced some of the pressure, so as there are a lot of competitors within the same banking in the United Kingdom. The research objective have three within to determine the impact of internal factor and credit risk, to determine the impact of external factor and on the credit risk, and the last is to determine the impact of the internal and external factor on credit risk. For the research question is there are relationship between internal factor on the credit risk. After that, for the literature review, I choose a 70 variables and consists of the model 1, model 2 and model 3. For the research methodology, I did a research with three ways, like sampling technique, statistical analysis, and the last is data analysis SPSS. Beside the dependent external factor and the both of that. Based on the finding and analysis for the statistical SPSS, we can see the descriptive for the standard variable standard, which means that the ROA of a Santander UK bank show the stability because the lower the standard deviation, the more stable the variable. But for the external factor, the standard deviation is recap is the 0.0018, which is the least among the internal factor. This tells us that the recap has a more stable in the mean of the 4.3% compared to other variable. Next, for the correlation, percent correlation is to investigate the relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable. In the percent, the return on asset, recap, inflation rate, interest rate, CIP have a negative correlation to the dependent variable, credit risk, whereas the leverage liquid asset ratio, equity multiplier, debt to asset, data rigidity with the credit risk, and the table interest rate has the stronger negative correlation of 0.589 with credit risk. It means that the decrease of the and its independent variable for a Santander UK bank. The lower the p-value, the more significant of the independent variable is correlated to the credit risk. We just found that the least significant among the variable correlated to credit risk is resex with the highest p-value 0.483 and the least p-value is yield curve of the 0.105. For the model 1, we can see that model summary has no autocorrelation and relatively normal. For the ANOVA have the internal factor and they are liquid asset ratio. Leverage and return on asset are insignificant or not important due to the p-value or significant value 0.8 0.02 is more than the minimum of 0.100. Next, for a model 2, model summary, the external factor have the adjust R square of 0.594, 59.5% of the variance in the independent variable of the credit risk are explained by external factor. The value of Durbin-Watson is about 2.480, which indicate this model has no autocorrelation and a relative normal. For ANOVA, the p-value yield curve, GDP interest rate is 0.398. This is because that the variables are not significant with the credit risk of Santander UK Bank due to its value is more than 0.100 with 0.398. The macroeconomic factor is not significant and does not impact the performance of company and banking. So, and the last for model summary, the variables are gross domestic product, MGT, and the return on asset have adjusted R square of negative 1.561. So this indicates the model has no autocorrelation and are relative normal. So, I can conclude that the leverage is the more significant influence on the credit risk of a Santander UK bank in a United Kingdom. The leverage ratio is the most significant due to it has the highest value with 0.579 as well as to lower p-value significant of 0.666. That other internal factors, the most of the external factors or macroeconomics are not significant influence on credit risk in Santander banks because the p-value of a coefficient f more than 0.100, and the Santander UK bank should control and manage well on their debt payment and asset to maintain the profit credit risk of bank. Thank you.